Welcome, man. This is yours truly, your boy Jacob the Great, along with, himself, the man, Icon Eve, man. And we just doing a special episode because I've been frustrated today, man. Pissed hell off to the 33rd power. So, man, I just don't understand, man, the mindset of one Jerry Jones. You know, Dallas Cowboys drummer. You know, and I just don't even see how you can give Amari Cooper a raw deal like that because we already know he's going with the Browns. So this means that his whole career is going to decline.
Yeah.
It means it's going to decline just like it did for Odell. I think to the football gods, though, Odell Beckham got out of there because you see what he was able to do with the Rams in that short period of time. We ain't talking about a full season. We talking about a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that being said, Icon, man, what's your take on the whole Amari Cooper thing, man?
Well, first of all, I want to what you call it, let me know about it. I actually was on the phone with Steve. Steve earlier at the time, he the one that actually put me on what was going on. But the craziest part about me when I looked at the trade, I'm like, so who was negotiating these deals for the Cowboys? Because you're gonna tell me you can only get a 5th round pick for Amari Cooper? I know his last couple of seasons ain't been as productive as it was when he first got there, but you ain't gonna tell me that you couldn't have got at least a 3rd. Maybe even a 2nd round pick for Amari Cooper. You know what I'm saying? I may be wrong, but it just seemed like they kind of pulled the trigger a little bit too fast. I guess trying to get off. Maybe they felt like they didn't have enough time to get off his number, his cap hit, so they had to do what they had to do. But I think it was kind of vindictive because what you were saying reported last week about how he came at Dak and all of that. To send him to the Cleveland Browns, I think it's like career suicide with Baker Mayfield. We see how bad it went for OBJ. Now, the only thing I would say, there are 2 different types of wide receivers because OBJ is more like he's closer to Jarvis Landry than he is OBJ. And Jarvis Landry was somewhat productive under that system because he's more of a slot type of wide receiver or I guess you would call possession receiver. So he's more of that than he is a deep threat type receiver. So he may, be okay because that's kind of what Baker Mayfield needs, or whatever he needs that kind of like go-to guy he can throw to every time to get him out of trouble. But it just was crazy to me. Like I don't know what Jerry Jones and him was doing. Because y'all almost scared me yesterday. It's kind of funny. Almost scared me yesterday because I heard they was talking with Bobby Wagner. And I was like, well, shoot, they get Bobby Wagner. That defense, boy, might win a championship by themselves. But this right here, no sense.
They got a meeting with him on Monday morning.
Who, Bobby Wagner?
Yeah.
So I mean, but I don't know. Like I don't know what his what he can demand as far as money wise. You know what I'm saying?
Well, for that Bobby Wagner thing, I know the team released him, but he's willing to, if he can get Bobby Wagner, he's willing to trade off Gregory to some type of team to get something else for Gregory as well, because Gregory ain't trying to take no pay cut, so he's gonna release him. Just like, and it's more into that story with Amari Cooper, man. Amari Cooper was owed $22 million on the 5th of January.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then on top of him getting into it with Dak, they added fuel to the fire. And so, so Jerry do some crazy stuff. Just like, if we look back, DeMarco Murray had a 2,200-yard rushing season.
Mm-hmm.
And because he wanted some money, Jerry got rid of him.
Yeah. But it's kind of what I told y'all the other day. It's kind of what I told y'all the other day is that Amari Cooper he not homegrown. And everybody know Jerry Jones is about homegrown guys. If you a homegrown guy that he picked out of the draft or whatever, then that's the guys he take care of before he take care of. If you look at the history of the Cowboys since Jerry Jones been there, it's kind of like he uses you and then throw you away. So he uses you for what he wants you for, and he hope to get a championship out of it. And if you don't give him a championship within the first maybe 2 or 3 seasons that you there, he get rid of you. And that's what he do. You know what I'm saying? Unless you a homegrown guy like Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin and them boys, and even with Emmitt Smith, that was always reported. That was a nasty negotiation situation where, like, after that negotiation, him and Emmitt Smith relationship was never the same. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's just the way Jerry Jones operates. But I just think, like, at this point, I don't really know. I don't think they really understand really how. I think it's kind of like with the Lakers and Rob Pelinka. They don't really know how to put together a team and keep a team and put the right type of players. You know what I mean? It's like they stack the deck with all these skilled players, but then they don't have enough of the role players to go around them and the what you would call like character guys. They don't have enough character guys, and because that's why I think if they get a Bobby Wagner, that's gonna do a lot for y'all. That's gonna neutralize y'all front seven as far as Bobby Wagner be able to get everybody in place where they're supposed to be. Sort of like a Ray Lewis or sort of like a London Fletcher years ago with Washington. You know what I'm saying? That's when our defense was the most consistent. When you get a person like a Bobby Wagner who's just gonna cover that one side, that one side of the field, and let Michael Parsons just run havoc. You know what I'm saying? So, that's the type of player that the Cowboys need. But
I just think Jerry, anybody that played for Jerry Jones actually hates him. They have nothing good to say about him.
Yeah.
Troy Aikman talks shit about him all the time, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the time. So does Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
So does Bill Parcells, man. So does Charles Haley. Like, bro, like, none of your players like anything about you. That's a problem, man.
Well, him and Jimmy Johnson they on kumbaya terms now. So
yeah, I mean, they went to college together and everything. So I mean, as far as he'll tell you, Jerry is a great friend outside of football.
Yeah.
But doing football business with him, no can do.
Yeah, I'm just saying, since he apologized to him, last year or whatever, they definitely on kumbaya terms. So I don't think you'll hear Jimmy Jones badmouthing him no more now, because he finally apologized or whatever. But I mean, like I said, man, it's just I don't get it. Of course, it might be good for us because everybody nobody in the NFC East seems like they know what they're doing. We don't. What's funny too, because I thought about this. I said when I seen that they decided not to press the criminal charge against Deshaun Watson. I don't know if you know this, or if you know the answer to this question or not, but I don't know when you trade for a player like in the off season, how long? When does they actually do the final paperwork? Because I'm like, if I was Washington, I don't know if they actually signed off on everything yet, but I would pull out of that deal and go after Deshaun Watson. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would do.
That's an interesting theory, man.
You know what I'm saying?
I've never really got far into or that deep into a conversation about when is the agreement really finalized.
Because I know the first few days is what they call a moratorium period. Where you kind of put trades in, like you kind of request for trades, or you can request trades or whatever. But I don't know when they actually do the paperwork as far as when anything is finalized, because I haven't seen a press conference with Carson Wentz and Washington yet or anything like that. So, and then the fans hate it. So I'm just like, to me, the Washington is like a PR nightmare ready to happen. The stuff the moves that they make. Like, who thought it was okay and made sense to trade for Carson Wentz at this point and whatever? So y'all not giving us no hope. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying he not gonna play. I don't know. He might come in next year and ball out. I don't know, but I'm tired of playing this guessing game with our quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yes, he may be an upgrade from Heineke, but what is that really saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, and then the thing about that, man, is would the receivers register with him, man? Would they really coincide with him? Like, is it gonna be a good relationship? Is the chemistry gonna be good? Like, cause he's been in the league a long time, and a lot of times the older quarterbacks are setting their weights,
Mm-hmm.
and the young boys just don't be going for it. And this is what I think happened with Amari Cooper, man. Amari Cooper, 26, 27.
Yeah.
And you just ain't gonna talk to him any type of way, whether it's Jerry, whether it's that, whether it's anybody. And so, do I think he might even set out with the Browns? He might. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like because who really wants to play with Baker Mayfield, man? Like, let's be honest about that.
Well, I think what's going to really happen is if Baker Mayfield, this is like his last chance. So you get a top receiver like Amari Cooper. You have other weapons. You got a running game. You got good tight ends. You got a good offensive line. So if he messes it up next year, of course, they just going to go in the draft and draft another quarterback. I think that's what's going to end up happening. So I think this is them saying, we're going to do everything we can to put weapons around you. So now it's on you. So the excuse was his shoulder was messed up. So he went and got shoulder surgery. So we're going to see what happens. So he don't got no more excuses left. There's no more excuses for Baker Mayfield. You know what I'm saying? He's going to ball out next year. He's not. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't tell me that Amari Cooper is not a number one receiver. You know what I'm saying? You got one or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And he's not injury prone like that, like a Odell Beckham. So, you know what I'm saying? He should be on the field at least most of the games. Right. So you shouldn't have no issue. Now I don't know who they're going to get, who the other receivers they're going to get by losing Jarvis Landry and losing Odell. So what did Jarvis go to? They just said they allowed him to go out and look for a trade. So last I seen, they said Kansas City he might be talking to Kansas City this week. Okay. So he may end up with the Chiefs this week. Which makes a lot of sense because, you can't just keep putting all that on Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. You know what I'm saying? And the rest of them boys, Cole Harmon and them, they kind of inconsistent. So I think Jarvis Landry Jarvis Landry gives them a possession receiver, which they don't really have. If you really look at Kansas City, they don't really have like a Art Monk or Chris Carter type receiver. And that's what Jarvis Landry gives them. He gives them that type of receiver, that guy that can get you a 8-yard, 10-yard slant pass or curl or something, get you a first down here and there. Not to say that Tyreek Hill and them can't do that, but you know what I'm saying? They need that other consistent guy that can take the pressure off the other two. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that's kind of what you need sometimes. You need because Jarvis Landry is a great route runner. And that's what you need. You need a great, especially in that Andy Reid system. You know what I'm saying? That's what you need is a great route. And that's what Jarvis Landry brings to them. If that's where he ended up going. I wish we would step up and try to holler at him. You know what I'm saying? Because we definitely need something like that. But we'll see.
Right. And me, myself, as far as the Cowboys fan, I'm not sold on CD Lamb. He dropped too many balls, man. Like in that 49ers game, he dropped 6 passes.
Yeah.
And the statistics show that has a way better passer rating with Amari Cooper than any other receiver on the team. So why would you get rid of him? That's crazy, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's really crazy. So what type of can of whoop ass does this open up for other teams to pick on Dallas? As far as, the Eagles, the Giants, and the Washington Commanders.
Well, I don't even know. Excuse me. I just think this brings Dallas back to the pack. Like last year, they was head and shoulders better than everybody else in the division, and it clearly showed. But I think the moves that made this offseason, as far as them not being able to keep everybody and losing a player like Amari Cooper, and I don't know exactly what's going to happen with Michael Gallup. He might be another player that end up leaving. So or
no, they just offer him $50 million.
Okay, but he gonna be coming off of ACL, so it just depends on how long that takes. You know what I'm saying? So
and then our tight end, they let him go. They release him.
Yeah, so I think this just brings everybody back to the middle of the pack. It takes us back to like last year. This not this past season, but the year before that, when everybody was pretty much average in the division. So
I just don't feel like Jerry want to win, bro. I just don't feel like that, man. Mm-hmm. I feel like Jerry is on dope or dog food, or he putting both in the pipe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like man, this makes no sense, bro. Like, first of all, you shouldn't have gave Zeke $90 million. You shouldn't have gave Dak no $164 million. That's ridiculous, man. You got to be able to pay other players to combine a team, man. Like you can't give players that much money, man. You should have gave Dak about $80 million. You should have gave Zeke about $46 million. Then you still got all that money freed up, and you could have paid Gregory. You know what I mean? And you gave Amari $100 million, and you know he was owed $22 million this year. So, man, listen, man, you giving out $90 million and up on 3 different contracts. What sense does that make?
Well, see, the problem was what Jerry messed up was when he paid Zeke before he ever played Dak, and that was the biggest no-no. Everybody and their mama know. You know what I'm saying? When you hand out big contracts,
and you got first.
Huh?
It's to your quarterback first.
Exactly. So if you got 2 players up and then you got your quarterback up and whoever else up, I don't care who else you got up. If you got your quarterback up at that time, you pay your quarterback first. And he could have got away with, at the time, paying Dak about $30 million. But he waited and waited and waited and kept on franchising him. And by the time the rubber hit the road, he had to pay him. He had to pay him way more than he wanted to. And Jerry realized that. He even admitted to him that I'm overpaying for Dak. He said it in the press conference. I'm overpaying for Dak. So I hope we'll get something out of this. So he admitted that he messed up that situation.
So for all you Cowboy fans out there who don't understand who Drew Pearson is, let me bring you up to speed per his podcast with some elite player from the Cowboys. In his podcast, he said Dak is not the guy. This is what he said. He said even if Quincy Carter had stayed clean, he would have been 40 times better than Dak. Mm-hmm. And I said, whoa. And as I go back and look at some of Quincy Carter games, he made way better decisions. But he just couldn't stay. He just couldn't stay out the alcohol and coke. Alcohol and coke turned him out. And and with that being said, man, with another quarterback that visualized the field, that had the weapons that Dak have, I like Dak as a quarterback. Mm-hmm. But when you think of Super Bowl contention, you're going to put him in that radar. To have a defense like we had, and we couldn't even score more than 10 points on the 49ers with the offense that we had, man, a high-pop offense like that. First of all, man, you can't pay Zeke Elliott $90 million and you only run him 15 times a game. That's unheard of.
Yeah, that's crazy.
When you pay somebody $90 million, that person has to be a workhorse. That person has to be on an Eric Dickerson, Earl Campbell, Emmitt Smith, that person has to be on a Ricky Waters, like all these elite guys level, man. You know, like do people understand how many carries Terrell Davis got per game, man?
That goes, of course it go to Mike McCarthy and them and the offensive coordinator. Like I think they try to, sometimes the offensive coordinators try to make people believe that they the smartest people in the room, and they overdo it. They need to simplify it. The thing about Zeke is one of them running backs, like you said. He has to get the ball a certain amount of times a game for him to be effective. You know what I'm saying? If you look at like with Tennessee understands with Derrick Henry, it's going to be a slow. Sometimes it's going to be a slow grind. You know what I'm saying? That you're going to have to give him the ball 20, 25 times a game, and at some point he gonna break one. He's going to break a couple of them to get that 100, 150 yards. So it's not, you just got to stick with it. But I think that they got this is what they're gonna have to end up deciding on. They're gonna have to decide that either they're gonna make Tony Pollard the workhorse, or they're gonna make Zeke the workhorse. I don't think that particular two-headed monster. Some two-headed monsters are very effective, but I think that if they're not gonna lose Zeke the way they're supposed to, they just wasted money. They might as well trade him if they're not gonna use him properly.
Well, as much as I talk trash about how they don't rush Zeke, I'm just trying to figure out how he had 1,087 yards rushing this season.
Who, Zeke?
I'm just trying to figure out this, man. He was over 1,000 yards this year. Like, I'm just trying to figure out how many long plays did he break, or because, bro, from my eyes, man, he definitely didn't get the ball enough. But yeah. He got over 1,000 yards rushing this year, bro.
But if you think about it, though, okay, it's how many games did he play? He played all 17, right? Or did he miss one? He missed one, right?
Right. He only missed one game.
Okay, so he played 16 games, and if you think about it, in this time, in this era, 1,087 yards is not really a lot of yards. If you think about, like, you know what I'm saying, like 1,087. That's only really about, maybe 85, 90 yards a game? Something like that, maybe?
It's like Shannon Sharp say, anytime you can rush for 1,000 yards a game, man, productively, he only had one season where he could rush for 1,000 yards. And like Shannon Sharp say, that's pretty big, man, for a back to do it consistently. And he said, like, because you got to look at the average running back don't make it past 6 years, and Zeke is coming up on that. Like he's coming up on that, so he's gonna precede the time that running backs are supposed to be in the league. You know what I mean?
But the problem is that since Zeke been in the league, I think they were saying he's the only running back, and I don't know if in history, but he's the only running back in a certain time frame or whatever it is, that in his first 5 seasons his yardage has gone down every season. So basically, from the first year I think he ran for like 1,700 or whatever it was. Each year, if you look at Zeke's stats, his yards each year has gone down every year.
Yeah, decline. But I can say this: he still got more yards than a lot of backs.
Yeah, definitely. He still, but the issue is, like, how we talked about with AD, and we talked about with James Harden early in the season, when we was like, yeah, they getting these numbers, but are they effective numbers? Are they impactful numbers? So he got 1,087, but like you said, what impact in any? I think maybe 1 or 2 games out the whole season, those whatever yards he got had any really impact on the game. Like
Tony Pollard impacted the game more.
Exactly.
You're right.
Exactly. So, I don't know what Tony Pollard ended up as far as stat-wise at the end of the season, but he had electrifying play after electrifying play after electrifying play. Zeke might have had a few moments here and there where he had a couple of big runs or whatever, but he didn't have a lot of signature first down runs to get you over the hump, or a few years ago when he first came in the league, Zeke could dominate the fourth quarter. that fourth quarter came around, oh, he was like a young Emmitt Smith them first couple of years. Like you
Right.
couldn't do nothing with him. He, you know what I'm saying? And his confidence was high. And, you know, I didn't see him really show any real confidence in himself until maybe like the last couple of games of the season, of this regular season.
I just don't think, man. It is as you said, man. For one, I don't think Amari Cooper liked Mike McCarthy either. I don't think that Zeke like him. I don't think that Dak like him. I don't think that Sam like him. I just don't think these guys like playing up under Mike McCarthy. And like Jerry is the type of person, as long as you will be a do boy for him and don't question him about anything,
Yeah.
he cool with that. He cool with that. He cool with that. You know what I mean? But as soon as you want to ask questions, you know, and as soon as you tell him, I don't need you on down here on the sideline. I need you to stay up in the press box. Then
Well,
he gets
yeah. Because you can't go from Cowboys start off season dominate and scoring, running up the score and scoring 30-something points a game and had the number one offense. And then halfway through the season, it's like Mike McCarthy don't make adjustments. And players know that. Players know if their coach is capable of making adjustments. You know what I'm saying? Because they, you know what I'm saying? When you got a great coach, you know what I'm saying? Your players gonna ride for you, and they gonna come in there thinking they can win every game. And I think when the Cowboys win in certain games, that fourth quarter came around, they didn't really believe they could win certain games, especially when they're going against a team that was a playoff contender or Super Bowl type contending team. They didn't play with that same confidence.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they knew Mike McCarthy and their offensive staff really weren't going to make adjustments. You know, the defense was making adjustments, but the offense never made adjustments. You know what I'm saying? They didn't even make, when they got to, by the time I got to the playoff game against the 49ers, what adjustments did y'all make in that game to try to really win that game? You really put no adjustments made.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So,
no, right. and then people say Dak ain't had no block, ain't blah, but man, Dak ain't, man, I can show you at least 13, 14 games that Dak don't start playing real ball to the second half.
Yeah. I think the thing about it is, I think that, like I told y'all earlier, I think that's almost one of those things like the playbook is too big for Dak. I think they need to simplify it and give him more, like give him plays that he's more confident with. And I think they use him in the wrong way because they try to use him almost like he's like a Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers or somebody with a big arm like a Josh Allen, and he's not that guy. You know what I'm saying? He has a decent arm, but he don't have a super strong arm. And
then my thing is, how much do he work in the off season, bro? Like, come on, man. Like you can tell a quarterback they work in the off season, bro, because Josh Allen was this way one season. When he came back to the next season, he was an animal.
And that's the thing. The thing about it is that Dak, the day after the season should have ended, maybe about a week after, go home, rest up a little bit, and you should be on the field with your receiver all through the summer, like all through the spring. He need to be getting on the same page with CeeDee Lamb, get on the same page with Cedric Wilson, because a lot of it was, either the player running the wrong route or he throwing it the wrong way. So it's like something ain't clicking with y'all where, you know what I'm saying, you got wide open receivers and you throwing the ball one way and they going the other way. So somebody wrong. So
and then it's crazy, man, because if you know anything about Amari Cooper, that man, you know that a lot of teams wanted him when he came to Dallas. So you didn't really try to build a solid rapport with that man. Like,
yeah,
like and like Jerry warning people to think that CeeDee Lamb is the man, but I can tell you this, man, Cedric Wilson impressed me way more than CeeDee Lamb did.
Yeah.
Because there was a whole lot of games, bro, that if there was no Cedric Wilson in the ball game, Cowboys wouldn't have won.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. I think the only reason why Jerry Jones signed Amari Cooper a couple of years ago to that big contract, because it was an ego thing. he didn't want them to go to. He didn't go to Washington because if you remember, Washington had a deal on the table to sign Amari and to steal him from the Cowboys. And of course, that one. Jerry was not going to let that happen. You know what I'm saying? He was not. If anybody in the division, Eagles, Giants, Washington, he was going to none of them teams. It would have been somebody else. He probably would have let it ride. But he was not going to let Amari Cooper come to us. So I think that's what it was really about. And he was really he overpaid them more than he could. When I can say overpaid them, but he gave them money that they really shouldn't have gave them because they had other needs because he didn't want them to go to us. I think that's what it really boiled down to.
But then, like you said, maybe this contract with Cleveland ain't really set in stone yet.
Yeah, so because I don't know how much of that contract. Like that's why I said it may all of it may not be guaranteed. Maybe that's why Cleveland have to give up that much to get him. Because that's what I didn't understand. Like a fifth or the sixth round for Amari. That's it.
Yeah. So my thing is Cleveland willing to handle that $22 million? I don't know about that, bro.
I mean, they got to do some cutting.
Because Washington paying too much for Carson Wentz. Man.
Well, I would say no, because if you look at the marketed quarterback, he's at it, and they broke it down the other day. I forgot what show I was watching, but Carson Wentz is getting paid $28 million, and based on his contract for a quarterback, they're saying like he's like the 14th, 15th best quarterback in the NFL, and he's getting paid around that. That's what his salary reflects.
I just don't. I can't say I agree. He was a 14th. I don't know, man. Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, that's something we have to break down on another episode or whatever. As far as like, if we start breaking down if we start giving like ranking each quarterback, you know what I'm saying, from top to bottom.
So my question to you, man. We talk a lot about Patrick, my homeboy. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna say, if you put my homeboy with Jacksonville Jaguars, what you think he'll do?
That's hard. I think
okay. We're gonna take another team that ain't so bad. That's pretty decent. If you put my homeboy with New Orleans Saints, with him,
he would struggle a little bit. Because
I feel like Mahomes came to an already built team. That's what I feel about that.
I'll put it to you like this. Patrick Mahomes got a kind of a skill set where he can thrive in certain skill sets, but at the same time, the problem with Patrick Mahomes is he thinks he tries to do everything on his own a lot of times. So I believe what would happen is his interceptions would go up. You know what I'm saying? He still may throw a lot of touchdowns and have big plays, but he would have a lot more interceptions. So he would turn the ball over more in certain systems because he wouldn't have those type of weapons that keep him out of trouble. Because a lot of times he'll throw up a ball to Tyreek Hill or throw the ball up to Travis Kelce, and he got a bit of throwing that fat pass. And you like,
if he wasn't with Kansas City Chiefs, that he'll be a new age Jameis Winston, a gunslinger.
You might be right. Like I said, he would have a lot more turnovers because he it's like it's no pass he thinks he can't make. That's the problem with Patrick Mahomes. That's the only thing I don't like about him is no pass that he don't like.
Patrick
he likes every pass.
Mahomes is the black Brett Favre. It's no pass that Brett Favre thought he could make. That's why they call him the gunslinger.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And Brett Favre was one of the high. He had some of the most touchdowns, but he was also very high in turnovers.
Yeah, right. And they also said, man, if Brett Favre throw that football to you, bro, he said, man, I heard Robert Brooks say this that used to play with Brett Favre. He said, man, when he first called a pass from Brett Favre, because what people don't know is he could have went and played professional baseball too. because he was a baseball pitcher from the time he was like what they say 10 years old. So they say when he throw that ball, bro, they say he had some heat on it, and they said the same thing about Dante Culpepper and Cunningham, because Cunningham was a baseball pitcher in high school. They said, man, them boys that play baseball and play quarterback, it's ridiculous, man. They was like, they throw the ball so hard, bro. You know what I mean? So, you know, just imagine your thumb getting in the way of that ball coming, man. It break that thing instantly, man.
Yeah, I heard about Brett Favre like that. I heard he had a rocket.
Yeah, bro. They said if you ain't that deal, they said if you can catch from him, you that deal.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. So, yeah, man. But I just wanted to top it up with you for true moments, man, about this NFC East, about that Cooper trade, man, and I don't know, man.
The thing about it is it's gonna get very interesting on Wednesday. That's the first day of free agency, so it's gonna be very interesting across the league, and to see how everything kind of shake up. And we're really not gonna really see really what it really gonna be. So between the free agency and the draft, and I think I think I'm gonna put it out there now. I think if it's possible. We should have we should do a special show on the first round of the NFL draft. You know what I'm saying? That night of the first round. And
are we talking about a live show? Or are we talking about stereo app?
Well, no. We're talking about a live show, like 32, like a live a StreamYard live. They break down all 32 picks. Get especially get KB and Steve-O on there because they know they college football like a mug. So definitely get them on there so they can help us break down each pick in that first round. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
For the NFL draft. So I think we need to definitely try to put that together.
Yeah, I definitely put it together. You know, the 9 Sports NFL draft day. I definitely.
Yeah,
but and I'm gonna say this before we go. I know we ain't talking about basketball tonight, but I'm gonna say, man, if the NBA don't give LeBron James his MVP, they is shitting him because he is shitting on every time he touches that ball, he's shitting on somebody. Like for real. At almost 40 years old, and you can do what you do, man. You are a freak of nature, man. You have been born out the womb from the basketball gods.
Yeah. And I want to say this before we leave out too. Congratulations for Virginia Tech winning the ACC championship tonight.
Yeah.
I think it's their first one.
The first time since 1970.
Okay.
When it wasn't even the ACC, it was in a different conference. It was the Metro. It was the Metro Conference Tournament Championship.
Yeah, because there was a whole different conference with them in Miami was in a whole different conference back then. Yeah. So congratulations to them, because and I'm gonna say this before we go. I kind of almost felt like they was gonna win when I watched them play against Carolina last night. I said Virginia Tech played some defense, so that I said they're gonna have a chance tomorrow night. So we'll talk more about all this on the show in the morning if we got time before the interview.
All right, man. Say the ball.
But you have a good night, my brother.
All right, my friend. I'll holler at you. Peace.
All right, peace.